Hey everybody, this is Brian from Carving is Fun, and in this little video, we're going to be making a ghost for Halloween. Now this is going to be a relatively simple carving. It should take you anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes to complete. Makes it great for any beginners or first time wood whittlers and wood carvers, and it's just a fun little thing to do really quickly just for fun. You don't need much to make it at all. All you're going to need is a piece of basswood, your preferred carving knives, and pencil, and whatever else you want to finish it with. Whether you want to paint it like I did with this one, or you can finish it in your preferred like beeswax or other regular wood finish to show off the color of the wood. In this video I'm going to be using a 1x1 by 2 inch piece of air dried basswood, and I'm going to be using 2 different size knives, one for more of a roughing out, and then the more detailed knife for smaller cuts as needed. And then finally, you're going to want a pencil to draw reference marks on your piece of wood. At any point, if you feel like you're falling behind the video, feel free to pause it. I will have a reference picture on the left-hand side for you to show you what the current step is. That way, it's easier for you to keep track of what's going on. All right, so let's get started here. Get everything we don't need out of the way. Starting off, we're going to take our piece of basswood, and then we're going to draw on it whatever the different markings that we want to cut out. Now, as a point of reference, the different parts on here, this part right here is going to be the head, like right here. These parts right here will be cut out, as well as these parts right here. These are going to be underneath the arms, like right here. And then this part that looks like a belt is actually going to be a useful indicator where we're going to be stop cutting, because what we're going to be doing here is taking our knife and then coming in at this angle and cutting downwards to this point. We don't want to keep going further down and start cutting down this way, because then we're going to be starting cutting against the grain, and then we run the risk of ripping off this whole section of wood right here, and we won't get this cool sweeping motion. So what we're going to do is cut here to this point, and then go from the other direction and cut here to this point, and then we'll meet at the middle, and the wood will come right off. All right. So, getting started, the first parts are going to be relatively easy. We're going to take off these top portions right here, and we're going to cut kind of at a little bit of a 45-degree angle. Now, what we're going to do is make a couple stop cuts. So we're going to push in here and then come back down. If you can take off the entire section, go ahead, but I suggest it's taking a little bit easy. It's going to depend on your wood. If your wood's really hard, you're going to be taking a lot of steps for this. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Again, we're just doing push cuts. We're making the stop cut where our blade's going to stop, and then just come down with the wood grain there, and then just cut it right off. A little bit more on this one. And a little bit more this way. There we go. And then, like I was saying here, we're going to take our knife and cut in at an angle up to here in a kind of a sweeping motion and stop at that midpoint right there. And we're going to be going at it from both sides. So come in and then stop at that point. You don't have to make it all the way to that point just yet. Then come in from the other angle and then do the same thing. Now, you don't have to take it all off in one go. If you want, make several cuts down into it, and then you'll see it comes right off. Let's see if I can make it a little bit more curved here. All right, so it's going to be just like that. You got a little curved motion going here. And again, we're going to do it from the other side. Go in at an angle and stop at that line. Then come in from the bottom, and then meet the point that you just met. If you need to, make a couple extra cuts just to smooth it out. And then there you go. Now you got your basic rough outline of your ghost. Now from here, what we're going to do is do a sweeping motion up towards the front to kind of get rid of some of that excess material. And we want to bring in the front quite a bit. We'll get to the back here in a sec, but we're going to bring this front portion in a little bit. So what we're going to do is do a sweeping cut from here up to the point where like the belt is, and then we're going to go straight. So we're going to sweep in right here, and then right here, start going straight. And probably get it to about that point right there. We will be taking off more wood in a little bit, but I like to leave a little bit more on there just at the beginning to have some extra wood to work with, and that way I don't accidentally cut off too much. Alright, and then from this point, we're just going to flip it over and do something similar to the other side. We don't have to go as deep as we did, but just a sweeping cut and just take off that point on the other side. Again, we're going to take off more wood here, make it look more rounded and smooth in a little bit. Now from this point, we should still have some slight reference marks right here on the sides, and we're going to make use of those here real quick. What we're going to be doing now is kind of smoothing out the front portion and the head a little bit. So what I like to do is start from the base about right here and then cut to that line that we have there. Again, you don't have to do all of it at once. You can do in smaller sweeping motions, but start from the bottom, go to the midline, and then start up from where the arms are and come back down. And just try and meet in the middle. Again, take multiple cuts if you need. It does not all need to be done in one sweep. And then you're going to do the same thing to the other side. Go into the line, stop, come back down from the top, and then there you go. Make a couple more cuts as needed. There we go. Now you should have kind of a tapered front area right there. And then from here, we're going to start rounding off the front towards the face and kind of detailing the arms. I like to make my arms coming forward just a little bit, so we're going to cut back at an angle to make it look like the arms are kind of like reaching forward a little bit. But first we need to bring this back a little bit here. So just take off a little bit of the wood. There we go. That should be good for right now. And then from this point, we're going to take these arms and kind of cut down at an angle like this. That way we can make it look like the arms are reaching forward. And you don't have to do it straight up and down. You can do it at a slight angle. It just gives a different perspective. If you want to make a couple of them and try them different ones out, you can. It's just a fun little perspective thing. So what we're going to do is make a little wedge at that spot that you cut there. There we go. And like you can see right there, it looks like the arms are kind of reaching forward a little bit. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. And since I am right-handed and doing it at a slight left-hand perspective, I might be a little bit wonky. I don't need to be perfect. I find some imperfection that makes these wood carvings stand out a little bit more and makes them unique on their own. A little bit more. There we go. So now that I have the basic arms and outline all set up, I'm going to start bringing the head in just a little bit more. As you can see, what I have here it kind of tapers inwards. It's not like a straight block on top. So from here, I'm going to switch over to my detail knife for a little bit so it makes it easier for you all to see. But I'm just going to take the wood inwards a little bit. Just take the rest of the wood with it. At this point, it's kind of going to be how you want it to be. You can make it a little bit thinner on the top. You can make it a little thicker. It is completely up to you. There you go. Let's taper it in a little bit more. I think I'm going to bring this front portion in just a little bit more. Make it uniform with the other side just a little bit more. And round off the head just a little bit. Now for this video, I'm not going to make it absolutely perfect because we can finish this off with sandpaper and smooth off some of these rough edges if we want. Or we can have that nice little scalloped whittling look with just a knife if you so want. It's going to be completely up to you. You are the creator and the final choice is up to you. Round this off just a little bit more. And round off the back a little bit. Just smooth everything out. Smooth out some of these chunkier cuts down here. Now again, when you're cutting into the curve, make sure you go in opposite directions with that wood grain or you're gonna start splitting the wood. Last thing you want to do at this moment is take off a ton of wood that you did not want to remove. Alright, now that we got it mostly rounded out, there's one last step to do, and that's the round off the top of the arms. You can see on here, I kind of angled them inwards, angle the top inwards. Very simple to do, just take your knife at a slight angle, like that, right here, and then just cut in towards the body a little bit. When you get to the body, switch positions and just cut that part off. Do the same thing on the other side here. Again, we're not looking for perfection, or at least I'm not. So don't worry about it if it looks a little uneven on each side. And then if you want, you can get rid of that point right there. Do the same thing to the other side. There we go. Even that out a little bit. And then do the front side. All right. At this point, you can finish it however you want. You can finish rounding it off with your knife, or you can take sandpaper to it and smooth it out. I used 150 grit sandpaper for these two guys over for this one right here, and then I painted it with acrylic paint. This one was more finished with the knife very quickly, and then I covered it in beeswax paste, primarily because I wanted that extra wood look to it. But it's going to be completely up to you for this one. I'm just going to do a quick one here for you. Finish this up a little bit more. Get some of these extra stragglers off. Alright, and then at this point, you can just run off the base to your liking. You can keep the point, you can get rid of the points. Completely up to you. You are the artist. But for what I'm going to do here, just as a quick demonstration for, like, if you wanted to finish it up in beeswax, like if you wanted that neat wood look to it. Take this off. Alright, so, ooh, I still got these on. So all this is just like a beeswax and mineral oil paste. It's easy to apply. It's just like putting on lotion. Basically, you get some on your finger and just rub it in. This one that I have here is all natural. Very nice. It's basically food safe. I don't have to worry about any funky chemicals in it. Safe for kids to handle, and it looks good. It helps protect the wood. Just rub it on like lotion. Make it as thick as you want. And you can let it sit for a little bit if you would like, but I find after you rub it in a little bit here, the wood absorbs it up enough if it's not too dense of wood. And then just take a rag and then buff off the excess. And now your little ghost sculpture is completely sealed, and you can just take something like a Sharpie and then draw some silly little eyes on there and a little mouth. Boop. And don't forget to sign the bottom. And there you go. Super simple, easy ghost. You can finish them up however you want. Finish it with sandpaper. You can just do it with a knife, or you can just cover it in beeswax or whatever other finish you want to use on there. As always, thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope you have yourself a great day.